in the 9th year of the mission, the Prophet ﷺ, who had been preaching in Mecca alone, undertook a journey to Taa'if. Taa'if is the closest city to Mecca and is located about 93 kilometers high and above and inside the mountains. The temperature in Taa'if is much lower than Mecca, and the climate is much cooler, and there is much more lush vegetation and water found. The Prophet ﷺ did the journey in the 9th year, and he was accompanied by his adopted son Zayd bin Harisa radiallahu anhu. What we see below is the beginning of the trail or the caravan path. So it used to be a very small caravan accompanied by men either sitting on the caravan or in foot, and they managed to walk all this way 93 kilometers on foot all the way up to the top of Taa'if. The journey is about 93 kilometers, which is approximately 70 miles. The Prophet ﷺ and Zayd bin Harisa radiallahu anhu undertook this journey with the hope of winning people over to Islam. The Quraysh of Mecca used to say, وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ عَلَى رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرْيَتَيْنِ عَظِيمٍ. Why was the Quran not revealed upon a more distinguished man from the two cities? Many of the scholars say this person was referred to in this ayat was Walid bin Mughira, who was the father of Khalid bin Walid. Allah later on disclosed all the evils of this man in the latest surah in the Quran, and Allah says that he is not a more distinguished man of the city. So the Prophet ﷺ and Zayd bin Harisa radiallahu anhu took at least 7 to 10 days to do this journey as they climbed on the mountain paths in this trail that you can see down below us. When they got to Taa'if, they initially approached the chieftains of Taa'if, but they did not want to listen to his message. He then tried to approach the common people, and they too did not want to listen to his message. Eventually the whole town turned against them. They were totally inhospitable. They preferred to not to give them food and not to give them water, and all they did was make their life a total misery. Many people felt they spent at least a week in Taa'if, and eventually they were expelled from the city, but to such an extent that they set the street urchins upon them to stone, to hit, and to jeer at them as they left the city of Taa'if. The Prophet ﷺ walked out of Taa'if in a very difficult situation, and the Mubarak blood was coming out of his body until such time that his shoes were clogged to his feet. When he came to a particular point, he stopped to rest for a few minutes, and when he rested, they tended to the wounds of the Prophet ﷺ, and he refreshed himself a little bit. And while he was sitting there, Addas, who was a Christian living in Taa'if and working for the Quraysh, he came and he was sent by his masters to bring some grapes to the Prophet ﷺ. After the Prophet ﷺ ate some grapes and felt a bit better, he took the name of Allah. In fact, he said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Addas asked him, who are you worshipping? The Prophet ﷺ said, I'm worshipping the one Allah. The Prophet ﷺ asked Addas, where are you from? Addas said, I am a Christian from the area called Ninwa. The Prophet ﷺ said, you must be aware of my brother Yunus alayhi salam. In fact, on this particular journey, we stopped in Halhul, where the maqam and the grave of Yunus alayhi salam is. Then Addas listened to the Prophet ﷺ, and then he kissed the Prophet ﷺ on his hand and his forehead. The masters were watching the Prophet ﷺ and Addas, and they reprimanded him when he came back to them, asking him, why did you show the man such amount of honor and dignity, whereas we only sent you with some grapes? He said, I have seen in this man something I have never seen in anybody else. Addas remained very attached to the Prophet ﷺ in spirit, but did not yet accept Islam. After the Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina Munawwara, Addas was asked by his masters to fight in the Battle of Badr and the Battle of Uhud, which took place in the 2nd and the 3rd year after Hijri. Addas refused to fight. His masters participated in Badr and Uhud, and they both were martyred. It is said later on Addas accepted Islam, and we did pass today by the masjid of Addas radiyallahu anhu. Then what happened is the Prophet ﷺ came down from the mountain of Taa'if, and he attended to his wounds. The angels of the mountains and Jibril appeared, and they offered to punish the people of Taa'if for their behavior and how they treated the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ made a unique dua when he was on top of Taa'if. In fact, he said, Oh Allah, It is not their fault. It is my fault that I am not important in the eyes of people, and I was not able to deliver the message in a better way. And oh Allah, I ask for nothing except for protection for myself. And I also ask that you must assure me that you are happy with me, and I do not have to fear anything. If I have your happiness and your pleasure, I have everything in life. Then the angel of mountains and Jibreel came, and they offered to crush the people of Taa'if, because Taa'if is situated among the mountains. The Prophet ﷺ said, I wish that perhaps from amongst their progeny somebody would accept my message. Allah answered the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, and Muhammad bin Qasim is the person who accepted Islam from Taa'if, and he is the person who is responsible for the conversion of many Muslims in the Indo-Pak continent. So indirectly, being of Indian origin, we all are indebted to the dua of the Prophet ﷺ when he made in Taa'if to save the people of Taa'if. When the Prophet ﷺ descended to Makkah, remember his wife had passed away. Abu Talib had passed away. This was the year of sorrow known as Amul Hazan. The Prophet ﷺ sent a letter to 4 people asking them for protection while he was going to live in Makkah. 3 of the 4 people refused outrightly, and ironically, all 3 of them later accepted Islam. The 4th person was a disbeliever. His name was Hatim bin Adi. He accepted the Prophet ﷺ's request, even though he remained a disbeliever and a kafir. Allah knows best. He sent his sons to take the Prophet ﷺ from the entrance of Makkah to perform Umrah and to the house of the Prophet ﷺ. And for 3 years, he offered the Prophet ﷺ protection, and the Prophet ﷺ could move around wherever under his protection and with the escort of his sons and his slaves. The Prophet ﷺ later on in life paid a tribute to Hatim bin Adi. After the Battle of Badr, there were about 70 prisoners of war, and the Prophet ﷺ said, the Quraysh of Makkah may send a representation if they want ransom, or they can send money or the like to ransom all the prisoners of war. The Prophet ﷺ also said they should pay a ransom, and they should pay something for the release of the prisoners. But if Hatim bin Adi was alive today, I will accept his request to release them without any ransom whatsoever. The Sahaba say, O Prophet of Allah, Hatim bin Adi was a disbeliever and he died as a kafir. How can you pay such a tribute to him? The Prophet ﷺ said, I would like to repay the favor. When I came back from Taa'if, nobody offered me protection in Makkah, not even my own family, not any of my friends, not anybody, even people that I had hope and trust in. My wife had passed away, my uncle had passed away. There was nobody to offer me protection for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. But this man offered me protection for those time until I could migrate to Medina Munawwara. So the scholars say from that you can deduce it is permissible to have business dealings with the disbelievers, provided we do not transgress the limits. Then another incident took place when the Prophet ﷺ came from Taa'if. When the Prophet ﷺ came from Taa'if, he stopped to rest at a particular place, and here he was reading his Tahajjud Salah, and in the Salah he was reading Surah Ar-Rahman, and a group of jinn were passing by, and they listened to the recital of the Prophet ﷺ. In fact, the Quran records what they said, and they said, Ya qawmana, قالوا يا قومنا إنا سمعنا كتابا أنزل من بعد موسى مصدقا لما بين يديه يهدي إلى الحق وإلى طريق مستقيم. That, oh, our fellow jinn, today we are hearing a recital very much similar to what was given to Musa alayhi salam, and definitely this is a guidance for mankind, and definitely this will lead people towards the straight path. So you should be able to accept his message if you listen to it. Then the Prophet ﷺ said that the jinn have accepted Islam, and they are now Muslim jinn, and they will propagate deen amongst the jinn. And he also said that the jinn gave me a better response to the recital of the Quran than you, O my Sahaba. When every time I read فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ in Surah Ar-Rahman, the jinn replied, and they said, definitely we are not of those who reject any of the bounties of Allah upon us. And then the Prophet ﷺ later on, when somebody asked him, oh Messenger of Allah, tell us about the early days of Islam, and tell us about your life in Makkah. What was your life like? The Prophet ﷺ said, the hardest day of my life from all that we've been through was not the battle of Badr, it was not the battle of Uhud, it was not the battle of Khandaq or Hunain, it was definitely the day of Taa'if. That was the hardest day of my whole life. Allah make it easy for us. We came on an Umrah mission, but Allah made it easy for us to visit this beautiful city of Taa'if in the mountains and to actually witness the path which the Prophet ﷺ took when he ascended the mountain to Taa'if, as also when he descended the mountain. And you can see there's a sign saying caravan path. There is a sign saying caravan path. That is the path we took. Allah made it even better. He took us to the top of Taa'if and to the bottom of Taa'if on a cable car, and we could witness the whole path that he and Zayd bin Harisa radiallahu anhu took. Allah made it even better when we went to the south of Jordan and we went to the place where the Battle of Mu'tah took place. We went to the grave of Zayd bin Harisa radiallahu anhu, and there we recall the journey which Zayd radiallahu anhu took with the Prophet ﷺ to Taa'if. Allah knows best what was going through their minds and what was going through their bodies on that day, and how Zayd radiallahu anhu tried to shield the Prophet ﷺ, and how they tried to prevent the blood from his Mubarak body from touching the ground, because had the blood touched the ground, Allah would have declared war on the people of Taa'if. Allah made it easy today that we came and we saw the place of Taa'if. We saw the beautiful masjid of Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu, who settled down in Taa'if because he was not of the lucky ones who could migrate to Medina Munawwara. Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu used to also say that the verse إِلَّا الْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ وَالْوِلْدَانِ الَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ الظَّالِمِ أَهْلُهَا وَاجْعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ وَلِيًّا وَاجْعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ نَصِيرًا. He said that this verse refers to my family. إِلَّا الْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ. We were the weak people. إِلَّا الْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ. The men refers to my father. وَالنِّسَاء. The ladies refer to my mother. وَالْوِلْدَانِ. And the children refer to myself. That we were amongst the weak, my mother, my father and I. We were not amongst those who could migrate to Medina Munawwara. The Prophet ﷺ told us to make this dua. رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ الظَّالِمِ أَهْلُهَا. Oh Allah, take us out of the city where we are being oppressed. وَاجْعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ وَلِيًّا. And grant to us a helper. وَاجْعَلْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ نَصِيرًا. And grant to us a person who can assist us and a friend to us. So he says that for many years while we lived in Makkah, we read this dua continuously. We never stopped making this dua. So when the Prophet ﷺ came into Makkah on the Fateh Makkah, he says that was the answer to our dua, that the Prophet ﷺ could come back into Makkah Mukarramah, not as an ordinary man, but he could come in as a victor, where he was now going to dictate the terms and decide who will be the leader in Makkah, who will be the Imam of the Haram, who will give the Azan in the Haram. He would come back as a leader, and he would come back as a helper to all of us, and he will come back as an aid, and he will come back as a friend to all of us. So he says the Fateh Makkah was an answer to the dua that we, the people of Makkah, have been reading all along. And the big question remains is, why did Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu, the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, not migrate? Simply because he couldn't afford it and nobody was there to help them. And why did he come settle down in Taa'if? When the fitna happened after the martyrdom of Usman radiallahu anhu, Abdullah bin Zubair radiallahu anhu came to settle in Makkah, and he took siege of Makkah, and he declared himself the Amir of Makkah. Abdullah bin Umar remained in Medina, and he remained apolitical. Abdullah bin Abbas wanted to emanate the knowledge of the Prophet ﷺ, and he is the person who came to Taa'if to establish a Darul Uloom, a madrasa, where he could disseminate the knowledge of the Prophet ﷺ. So that is why Abdullah bin Abbas is sitting in Taa'if, and that is why his grave is in Taa'if as well. Allah made the journey easy for us, mashallah, and we have safely returned. Allah accept our ziyarat, mashallah. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha